This is Art History with Kenneth on the KJL podcast channel, a series where timeless masterpieces are brought to life through the lens of artist and host, Kenneth J. Lewis Sr. Each episode takes viewers on a visual and historical journey, uncovering the stories, styles, and significance behind the world's most influential artists and art movements. From bold brushstrokes to revolutionary ideas, this is where the past meets creative perspective. The journey begins now.
Welcome to the Art History Show on the KJL podcast channel. I'm your host, Kenneth J. Lewis Sr., and today we dive into the radical vision of a man who painted nothing, or at least that's how it seemed to his critics. In 1915, Kazimir Malevich unveiled a black square painted on a white background. To some, it was a joke. To others, a scandal. But for Malevich, it was revelation. A doorway into the new world of art. Free from objects, free from history, free from rules. This is the story of Kazimir Malevich, the man who painted nothing. Kazimir Malevich was born in 1879 in Kiev, then part of the Russian Empire. He grew up in a Catholic Polish family, but was surrounded by the traditions of Orthodox Russian. As a child, Malevich was enchanted by the colors of folk art, embroidery, and especially the glowing flat icons in Orthodox churches. By his 20s, he was trained as a painter and began experimenting with new styles, sweeping through Europe. Impressionism, Fauvism, and Cubism. But unlike his Western peers, Malevich was living in a Russia on the brink of revolution. To him, painting wasn't just about beauty, it was about creating a new reality. And in 1915, he did exactly that. At the last futurist exhibition of paintings in Petrograd, Malevich unveiled a painting unlike anything the world had seen. A simple black square on a white background. No figures, no landscape, no story. He called it Suprematism, art dedicated not to objects, but to pure feeling. The black square wasn't just a painting. He hung it high in the corner of the room, the same place where Orthodox households placed their sacred icons. To Malevich, the black square was the new icon, not of religion, but of a new spiritual truth. Critics were outraged. Some laughed, others were horrified. But for Malevich, this wasn't destruction, it was liberation. He later wrote, "It is from zero, in zero, that the true movement of being begins." For him, the black square was ground zero, the end of old art and the birth of something new. After the black square, Malevich developed the full language of Suprematism. His canvases exploded with floating shapes, red rectangles, blue circles, yellow triangles, all suspended in infinite white space. These weren't random. To Malevich, they were a vision of pure feeling, unchained from the physical world. He believed that color and form could express emotions and truths far beyond the reach of words. In paintings like Suprematist Composition, Airplane Flying, or White on White, he sees shapes that seem to hover, drift, or soar. This was art as a new cosmos, a spiritual flight beyond earthly concerns. Malevich once said, "To the suprematist, the visual phenomena of the objective world are in themselves meaningless. He wanted us to feel, not recognized.
You're watching KJL Podcast Channel, home of Art with Kenneth, where he paints live, share techniques, and talks all things art. The Art History Show, highlighting legendary artists from the past and their lasting impact. The Muse Unveiled Show Experience, where real people become timeless works of art. Don't miss the Gallery and Museum Tour Show, taking you through inspiring exhibitions and creative spaces across the country. Join us monthly for coffee, tea, paint and sip, a relaxed, hands-on event at the KJL Art Sanctuary. Commissioned accepted, and now is the perfect time to begin your journey as a collector. Want to support the channel? Tap the Buy Me a Coffee link in the description. Plan your visit to the KJL Art Sanctuary Gallery and Studio at 310 4th Street, Ewing, New Jersey. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the KJL Podcast Channel, where art dwells, breathes, and inspires. Now back to the show.
At first, the Russian Revolution seemed to align perfectly with Malevich's vision. The new Soviet state promised a world reborn. Kazimir became a teacher, spreading his ideas of non-objective art. His students carried Suprematism into architecture, design, and theater. But as the 1920s turned into the 1930s, the political climate shifted. The Soviet government began demanding socialist realism, heroic, easily understood paintings of workers and soldiers. Kazimir's abstract visions had no place in Stalin's regime. He was banned from showing his work, arrested briefly, even forced to paint in a realistic style again. But secretly, he continued creating suprematist works, some of which were hidden and only discovered decades later. When he died in 1935, his coffin was marked not with a cross, but with a black square. Today, Kazimir Malevich is remembered as one of the fathers of abstract art. The black square remains one of the most iconic and controversial works in history. Critics still debate, was it genius or was it nothing at all? But that's exactly the point. Malevich proved that art didn't need objects, stories, or traditions to matter. It could begin from zero, from nothing, and still transform everything. As William de Kooning once said, it's not what he puts on the canvas, it's what he took away that mattered. Malevich showed us that sometimes the boldest act of creation is to erase. Kazimir Malevich painted what looked like nothing, but in doing so, he gave us everything. A new way to see, to feel, to imagine. This has been the Art History Show on the KJL Podcast channel. I'm Kenneth J. Lewis Sr. And remember, stay visionary, stay open, and always dig deep.
Thank you for watching Art History with Kenneth on the KJL Podcast channel. If this episode inspired, informed, or intrigued you, be sure to like, share, and subscribe for more. Kenneth J. Lewis Sr. returns every other week with more captivating stories from the art world, exploring the legends, the techniques, and the timeless works that continue to shape our creative world. Until the next brushstroke in history, keep watching, keep wondering, and keep the art alive.